Hi friends, we are going to discuss an important development under international relations. We are going to discuss India's Look East policy, which is also called as the Act East policy. Look East policy is basically a foreign policy of the government of India intended to develop relationship with the Eastern Asian region, especially the Southeast Asian bloc of countries. These countries mostly they are part of the ASEAN bloc of countries. They comprise nations such as Myanmar, Indonesia, Laos, Vietnam, etc. So this foreign policy it is basically intended to develop our relationship with Southeast Asia, especially with regard to economy, defense as well as improving our cultural ties. This policy was crafted by our former Prime Minister Mr. Narasimha Rao, and now it has been taken forward by our present Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi. Now, why do we need such a policy? This East Asian region, especially the Southeast Asian region, it holds great significance for India. The countries in this region, they are very rich in natural resources. Myanmar and Vietnam, for example, these countries hold oil and natural gas resources. Similarly, these countries, they hold important forest resources also. So these resources can be tapped by India by having relationship with these countries. Especially in the South China Sea region, we have a lot of oil and gas resources. So by having economic relationship in this region, we can tap all these natural resources. Recently, India has been trying to sign and become a member of this international trade agreement called as RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. This agreement, it has the membership of the 10 members of the ASEAN bloc along with countries such as China, Japan and India. So trade can also be improved through this Look East policy. Apart from this, the northeastern region, which is one of the backward regions of India, the northeast region, it comprises the 8 states of northeast India, example Assam, Sikkim, Manipur, Meghalaya, etc. So this region, which is relatively backward, this region can also be developed through this Look East policy or the Act East policy. Through our Act East policy, the northeastern region can be well connected with the Southeast Asian region. We already have certain economics projects underway. For example, the Caladan multimodal transport project, which we are developing along with Myanmar. Similarly, we have this India, Myanmar, Thailand international highway project. So these infrastructural projects can also be developed through the Look East or the Act East policy. Apart from this, there is a very important aspect of this Act East policy. We can contain China through this policy. China, as we all know, unfortunately, the relationship with the country is not so smooth. They are trying to corner us. They are trying to encircle India through various projects such as the One Belt, One Road policy. They are trying to encircle us through the Indian Ocean also. But India, we can counter this through the Act East policy. Through the Act East policy, we can have friendly relationship with the countries of Southeast Asia. Some of the nations of Southeast Asia, they don't have very good relationship with the country of China. For example, there are certain islands in the South China Sea. Many countries, they are claiming ownership over these islands. So China is fighting along with other regions, with other nations in the region. For example, Philippines and Malaysia, all these countries, they have competing claims over islands in the South China Sea. So by having friendly relationship with the countries of Southeastern Asia, China can be contained by India. So these are all the positive aspects of the Act East policy. This is only a start. We still have a long way to go. Recently, India has informed that we are not willing to join the RCEP trade agreement. Of course, this has been a setback for the Act East policy. So it all depends on the political will of the central government. Like I said, this region, this Southeast Asian region is one of the region that has great scope for economic development in future. It all depends on the political will of the central government to take forward this policy. I hope this class is helpful to you. We will meet again.